Now let's talk about folders. So one more time, we're going to hit the comma key, go into our tool tab, double click the demo soldier, hit the comma key to go out of our lightbox, drag demo soldier out of our canvas, go into edit mode, open up your subtool menu, and now we're ready to talk about folders. So you're going to see we have a bunch of subtool options in here. The one we skipped is right here, which is new folder. At any point you can click new folder and you can name it whatever, and whatever subtool you have selected is going to go immediately go in that folder. Now putting things in and out of folders is super easy. Just grab a subtool, just drag it into the folder, and then you can reorg these. You can grab the demo soldier and move it down. Oops, that pulled it out of the folder, but you can move it back in. So take the shirt, move it above. There you go. So now we have a folder. We can collapse the folder down. Whenever you have a subtool that's selected inside of a collapsed folder, it's going to have a little pencil next to it. As soon as you touch another subtool that's not in there, that pencil will go away. And again, you can just drag goggles and throw it in there, and now you have a little 3 next to your folder, which means there's 3 subtools in there. Open up the folder, and there they are, stacked nicely within that folder. If you go in here to this gear icon, you're going to see there's some options in here, and right down at the very bottom, the very bottom is delete all. That's going to delete every file within your folder and the folder. So go to the delete folder, and that'll just delete your folder out of your scene. And the reason I did that is there's an easier way to create folders for multiple objects that are visible in your scene here. And that's going to include some gizmo functionality. Now I know we haven't gotten to the gizmo yet. We've touched on it briefly, and the way the videos are organized right now, we're going to have to jump ahead a little bit basically. So if you hit W on your keyboard, you're going to see the gizmo, and right over here on the right hand side is transpose all selected subtools. If you turn that on, you're going to see it's just going to look as normal, but then you can go through here and you can move all of your subtools in your scene. So you can move them up and down, etc. If you hold down Control Shift and tap in your document, just like the visibility movies we already went over, you're going to use the exact same functionality of visibility, Control Shift, select rectangle, to select movable subtools. We hold down Control Shift and select the body, and then the shoulder pad, and then the backpack right here. Now you will just move around those subtools. If we Control Shift tap in our document again, that'll invert that selection, and then there's all the rest of the subtools here. If we Control Shift drag, that's going to unhash everything, and now you can move everything, and then Control Shift tap again to hash everything. You can also hold down Control Shift and drag over multiple. So if I want to grab all the upper body stuff, and then Control Shift tap the body. So here's all the upper body equipment. With those unhashed, I can hit Control F, which if you hover over the new folder is the hotkey for new folders. We'll hit Control F. That's going to say, do you want to make a folder for these? Say always yes, and we'll call this upper body equipment. And now all of those are in a folder. So we can go ahead and turn off move multiple, hit Q to go back into draw mode, and we're good to go. Now just like visibility out here, you can like hide and show the glove stuff. No, actually, now that I see that, the wristbands should probably be in upper body equipment, and the gloves should probably be in upper body equipment. So we'll go ahead and select the belt here. And you can turn off the boots, for example. You can also turn off visibility for folders. So if you want to turn off the upper body equipment folder, just turn that visibility off, and all that stuff disappears. So very quickly, we can hit W, go into move multiple, Control Shift drag to unhash everything, Control Shift tap to hash everything, and then you can go through here and unhash these pieces, or probably even faster, Control Shift drag to unhash everything, Control Shift tap to unhash the body, Control Shift tap on our document to invert that, hit Control F to create a folder. We'll call this lower body, and now we have the naked body here. Let's go ahead and go out of move multiple, lower body equipment, and upper body equipment. Now in here, you're going to see lower body equipment actually has another glove in there. We're going to take this glove and scoot it on over into upper body equipment. Turn that visibility off. It's still visible because that's a selected subtool, so let's go select the boots, and now all that stuff disappears. Hit Q to go back into draw mode, and now we have just lower body subtools showing. Now let's talk more about these gear options here. So we'll go ahead and turn that visibility back on. We'll select the upper body folder, go into the gear icon, and right up here at the top, you're going to see transpose set. So let's go ahead and choose transpose set here. And that's essentially going to say, hey, I want to transpose everything in my upper body. And of course, the gizmo is already set to move multiple with those folder objects selected. Now, incidentally, this does honor masking in any subtool. So if we go through here and mask part of this thing and then move stuff around, it will keep it masked. So if any subtool in here is masked, it'll go ahead and respect that masking. Now, if we go down here to the lower body, and click the gear icon, you're going to see there's a transpose add. So what that's going to do is add these objects to what's being transposed. So now we're moving both upper body and lower body objects. Or we can go back in here to lower body, say transpose sub. It'll get rid of all the lower body objects, and now we're just back to transposing that upper body equipment. Let's go ahead and go out of move multiple. We'll select the lower body. We'll go down to this gear icon. We'll say duplicate and say always OK. And now you're going to see we have two lower body folders. And these ones got a little 1 after their name. And then this time, let's go ahead and select this bottom lower body folder, go into the gear icon. Instead of saying delete folders, say delete all. That's going to delete all the objects and the folder as well. If we have lower body folder selected, and we go into the gear icon and we say merge up, that's going to take all of the objects that were in the lower body folder and merge it up in here into upper body equipment. Show poly paint, you can turn this on and it's going to turn on colorize for all your subtools. You can also just hold down shift and turn the poly paint on and off. So you can do it per folder as well, but that's probably a little bit faster. Same thing with hide poly paint. And we haven't gotten to Booleans yet, but you can Boolean a folder. Let's do just a quick demo on that. So let's hit Q to go back into draw mode, go out of edit mode, say always switch, hit Control N to clear our canvas. Let's go into our palette over here, we'll choose a cylinder 3D, drag it on our canvas, go into edit mode, hit make polymesh 3D. Now that this is a polymesh 3D, we can append another object, let's say a cube, select that cube, hit W, use your gizmo to move this up here. Maybe scale it out just a little bit here. Choose this second icon in the subtool stack. If we turn on Boolean, you're going to see this is going to cut right through my mesh, and it's a live Boolean, so we can kind of preview that. Pretty cool. Live Booleans are nuts. You're going to love them. But again, we're just kind of skipping ahead a little bit. So now, if both of these objects were in folders, let's just hit Control F, say Boolean test, and then we'll go ahead and drag the cube in here. Now the cube has to be underneath, and it's all in this folder here. So if I go to this folder gear icon and say Boolean folder, that's going to put a UMesh right out here in my scene. So if I turn off live Boolean, and it's also going to hide my folder here. So here's the Boolean result, put right down here. So if I say delete here, that's a little bit different. So if I turn on the visibility of both of these and turn live Boolean back on, and go out of polyframe mode, if I go down here to Boolean and just make a Boolean mesh, it's not going to throw it down here at the bottom. It's actually going to throw it out here just in the general tool palette. So that's kind of a nice feature. Let's go ahead and hit delete and go back in here. A nice feature of Boolean in a folder. Now you're also going to see there's a Boolean dynamic subdiv in here. All that means is if we have this cylinder here and we go down here to geometry, crease, let's go ahead and do a crease tolerance here to crease my open border edges, and then we're going to go in here to dynamic, turn on dynamic, smooth subdiv of 2 is just fine. So if we turn all that off, oops, turn dynamic back on, but turn polyframe off, you're going to see we get a much smoother result. So we just need to make sure when we run this Boolean again to say Boolean with dynamic subdivisions, and again that's going to give us that smoother UMesh result. So let's go back to our demo soldier here, go back into that gear. We've already talked about merge folder. You can rename the folder if you want. It's not upper body equipment anymore, it's just equipment. And we've already talked about deleting a folder and deleting all. There's other couple cool things you can do. So we go out of this brush menu here and we grab our Z plugin, drag that white dot over here, and we go over here to subtool master. You're going to see there's a copy folder option in here. So we can actually say we have the equipment folder selected. So we're going to copy this folder. We're going to go back to this UMesh working file right here. We're going to say paste folder. And that's going to paste all the folder contents and the folder name right into this file. So that's a cool way to kind of transfer objects between here. One thing I should have mentioned when we were in the subtool video is if we have this object selected, we go back here and it's like, hey, I want to put this cylinder in with my other scene. It's easy enough to do if you have this one selected. You can just select the cylinder in this scene, go back here, say append, and then grab this polymesh cylinder. Even though it has 13 subtools, it's only going to append the selected subtool. So just select that here, and now you have little barrel pants appended to this file.